double wing caddis, some mayflies, mostly dries. We're just doing last minute stuff. Not going to be very exciting. Let's pop on this 140, 70 rather. Let's see how many we messed it up. We might end today with a bass bug. I need a couple bass bugs too. The upcoming trip is gonna have some smallmouth and largemouth, hopefully. So a few bass bugs might be good. My thread is all jacked up. All right, there we go. Let's get started. Oh, we might need some lights. Actually, maybe we don't need lights. Lighting is pretty good right now. Let's go ahead, clip it. Do a dubbing blend. We do the hare's ear with the olive synthetic. I'm gonna go brighter olive synthetic for this one. And we'll blend that up. More of a greeny green. Okay. Do a little dub and rope. That's more dubbing than I need. Dub the body till about halfway. Pop in a wing. Clean it up first. I don't know what color we should make the wing. The body's green. So this is kind of not even a caddis. Maybe do we make the wing dark or do we make the wing light? What do we do? Let's just go natural. Nothing special. I'm gonna pick 2 feathers. And then we'll tie them in flat side down, slightly longer than the bend. There's one. Let's tie in one more. And that's 2. We'll advance and trim. And then start another dubbing rope. I think we will just have enough material. Material doesn't need to go all the way to the eye. So that'll be plenty. We'll dub over those butts. Come forward. And we'll stop right there. Let's clean that up. And then 2 more feathers. These ones might need to be a little bit longer because you need to utilize the whole feather to cover the body. So this one looks good. We have to match the tips all the way to the end. 1, 2, 3, sitting flat. And then this one looks good. One, 2, 3, sitting flat. All right, we'll advance here. We won't trim these butts yet. And then we'll get some legs going. For our legs, we'll do a darker CDC. Let's find us a feather. That's a good one. We'll clip it up. We don't need all of it, just a quarter of this one side. You could go heavier if you wanted. Let's go a little bit heavier. Half of one side. Then trim it off the stem. And then we will split our thread. And insert the material. Then we'll spin it up. And then we'll let that furl, or twist rather, and we'll wrap it as a hackle. And then we'll travel forward and finish at the eye. We'll let the thread unravel. And we'll trim out the butts. You can cut those down close if you want, but seems like everyone's keeping them long these days. I don't know how this color will fish. I haven't fished any green, bigger dries, but maybe it'll work. And after a thread is unraveled, we will whip and finish, and whip and finish and whip. All right, good to go. Trim it out. Finished. Next thing we'll do is, this is a little bit of a cheater pattern. A wee bit of a cheating pattern, but good one nonetheless. That's a good size. Then we'll get a bead on there. Do a 3.8. change out the thread perhaps. Let's see what we got first. Yeah, so we got white. And we got black. Okay. Let's do the black first. I'm going to use dark brown thread because I'm creative like that. We're tying a leech pattern, my version of it at least. There are so many versions of this fly, but in a smaller size, it'll fish year round, winter, summer, fall, spring. This is actually really the only fly. If you were very simplistic person, minimalist person, you could just fish this fly for any species, freshwater species. And if you change the color, you could fish it salt. What we're gonna do, this is a rabbit strip, zonker strip, and we're gonna tie that in. But I don't want all of it. I'm gonna have it. So I'm gonna trim out a bit. And the reason I'm gonna have it is it will sink better and it will look more natural and you can save material. Most people just tie the whole strip on. So we have our strip. I'm gonna score it with the razor carefully and split it in half. You don't want to take too much of you don't want to go too deep into it, then you'll cut your hair. You'll be in a world of hurt. But if you get it started and you score it well, you can kind of just tear it apart. Not too hard. Maybe they sell smaller, thinner strips. I'm not sure. Okay, there's a nice thin one. We cut some of the hair out, so we'll pull that out. And then we will... some guides will just have one tie-in point, which is perfect, works well. But I'm gonna do two. So we'll do one tie-in point here. You can wet your fingers and style the hair back, preen the hair back to get a little working area. This one got a little bit thin because I went too deep with my razor, but given the length of the hair, we don't even want it that long. So I'm gonna rip it to shorten it up. And then we have this extra hair, the hair that we cut from the strip. We can play with that. I'm gonna blend it with a little bit of gold. A little bit of gold. Black and gold. And we'll blend that together. We have our little tie-in we did. You could split and spin like we did with the CDC, but I'm just gonna blunt dub it loose rope. Oh, I was pretty heavy with the gold on that. And then we'll wrap. This is the body. We want it loose because we want to pick it out. Wrap, wrap, wrappity, wrap, wrap. Then we're gonna fold our strip over, tie it in, and then we can trim that out. Do a little bit more material, you don't need much. Finish out the collar there. And then we will try to sink that thread behind the bead and whip it. Whip it, whip it. That's a real fast tie, super effective. Any species, panfish, trout, bass, will eat this pattern. Freshwater, still water. I think the river guys kind of sleep on patterns like this. They'll fish a woolly booger, but the freshwater guys do more leeches. And I think this would qualify as a leech. This thing catches them. You don't need to do the gold flash, especially that heavy. But I think it looks cool. Yeah, that's the pattern, right there. In white, if you tie this in white and drift this under an indicator, you will catch fish for days. Any river, any season. Except maybe if the water is super low, then you might have trouble. Let's tie one more in black, because we have the half of the strip. Get a little thread behind the bead. I think small is also the key. Size, the smaller size strip, it works well. Works real well. Thin to win. This one let's tie it in. Make sure we have enough to fold over. A little drop of super glue on the back of the hide would also work. And then let's do this one with a little bit of green. We'll blend it with a little bit of green. Peacock ice dove, not green. Peacock ice dove. I'm gonna beef it up with a little bit more dubbing. Not that it needs it. And do a loose rope. Loose rope. And then I'm gonna wrap the body. I like to try to get one wrap in between there, and then the rest on the body of the fly, all the way to the bead. Fold over our strip, tie in the strip. Trim off your tag. So we have a little buildup here, and I would honestly just take some of it out, because like the thinner the better. Yeah, that's good. Then we'll do a little collar. Do a little collar. Loose dub. And wrap the collar, sink that thread down behind the bead, give it a whip. And another whip. And another whip. I don't know why I did 3. Just feeling it. Okay. Let's pick that out a tad. Finished. Good pattern. All right. So you could do the same thing with the white, but I'm gonna make the whites a little bit bigger, and then I'm gonna use a strip that has some metallic sticker on the back. Maybe that will give us a little bit of a funkier look. So we'll get a bigger hook. And then we'll get a little bit bigger bead. 4mm bead. Okay. I'm doing this one a little bit bigger because I think the black is gonna resemble an aquatic insect, but the white certainly we want it to resemble a bait fish. If you were conflicted on whether you should nymph or streamer fish, you could throw this under the indicator and effectively be nymphing and streamer fishing at the same time. The old dead drifting the streamer technique, which is good for beginners, very good for beginners. And we'll go with the white Danville. Let's split our bling strip. Let's cut out, let's measure first. How long do we want it? I think that's good, 1.5 inches. So we'll chop our strip. Splitting the sticker ones is a little bit trickier than splitting the hide ones, but still can be done. If you work slow, nice and slow. Nice and slow. Okay, split. I'm now separating the split. I wasn't super uniform with the cut. I'm sure there might be a better way to do this, but I'm now just teasing it apart. We might lose it right there. Yep, almost there. We got it. All right, this strip is certainly better than the other one, so we'll use it, and we'll tie it in right there. You could flip it. I don't, but you could. And then we'll advance our thread. What color do we want here? What color do we want here? I kind of think we want a contrasting, maybe a little brighter orangish red, and then we could do the ice dove green, because our hook is a jigged hook, and we have the white underneath. If we put dark on top, it might give us a good color profile. Might. Because we don't know. All right. Let's get our dubbing rope going here. Loose rope. Loose rope. Let's get our rope wrapped. Ooh, we had too loose of a rope. And then we can wrap the body a little bit more. Wrap the body, fold over our strip. And tie it in. Tie it in. Trim the butt. A little bit more dubbing. Loose rope. Wrap the dubbing. Then sink that material behind the bead. Sink that thread behind the bead. And do a whip. 1, 2, 3. Cinch the whip. Do another whip. 1, 2, 3. Cinch the whip. Trim the thread. Pick out the body. The more you pick, the better the result, always. I think streamers are inherently overdressed. So if you can work out a lot of that material, it'll have a positive effect. And tease some of it out, and then we will preen it back. See what we're working with here. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. Not overly bright, but still, we're not fishing a solid color. So that gives me a little bit more confidence. And got a little flash, got the flash from the bling strip in there. It lacks any kind of head, but because we would dead drift this. You could strip it on, you could fish it on the strip as well, but I generally dead drift it. It's good pattern. All right, let's do a hair bug. because we need one. Do this one a little bit bigger. Let's tighten that up. Okay. Get our thread started. Let's do some darker hackles, and then we'll do some lighter hackles for our tail of the hair bug. Nice and long. One on each side. And trim those out just to make it more manageable. And then we'll come back with some lighter hackles. I just had these on my desk. I don't think it really matters what color they are. Here's another one. This one's got a weird bend to it, but we're still going to use it. But we want them positioned on the sides. This one's kind of wonky. That's good. Trim those out. Do we need more? I think it'll be okay. Let's get our thread base going all the way to the eye and back. I'm not even going to do a hackled collar on the back. I'm just going to go right into tying. We have a darker. Yeah, this one is not good. That'll work. We have a darker leg theme going, so I guess we'll try to do a darker hair scheme. We'll start with some olive hair, and we'll try to get that to spin. If not, then we will stack. I'm going to clean up the hair. Getting rid of that under fur. I'm not going to stack it. I want this to really flare out. It's too loose. Gentle spin, yeah, it's flaring nice. I want that to flare out. Okay, we're gonna not even mess with that bunch. We're gonna come forward. We'll do another stack of olive. Clean that up. Dropped my scissors. Clean it up. And then too loose. Give it a nice tug. Good tension. We'll start adding some other colors here. So I'm flattening that out. I call it a landing zone, because that's what we'll do our next tie. I think bass bugs are supposed to resemble frogs, but so we have to do a little bit of green. We'll try to use the green as the point color. We'll keep everything else kind of neutral, and then we'll try to use the green as the point color. So we'll tie in the green, and then we'll smush it. I haven't even wrapped yet. I'm just holding it there with the thread, smushing it around, working it around. And before we tie the next bunch, I'm gonna get some, yeah, that's another shade of green. And then we'll put that right in the middle. And now we will give it tension. And so it'll look like it has kind of a green stripy situation. I'm gonna create another landing zone. We'll do the half section of green. Secure it and smush. And then small bit of sage. Place that on top. And now crank it. Crank it hard as you can. Crank it. Let's advance our thread. Work it through that forest of hair. And a couple securing wraps. After you have this much hair on, you have to pack it. I have a bad finger, so this is gonna be tough. Oh, buddy. Pack it as tight as you can. Squeezing that hair back. That's good. I'm gonna do the legs here. I'm gonna get some, we'll do this dark brown rubber, light brown rubber rather. And we'll double this up and gauge how much we need. Double it up. Get a little bit of super glue. Dot it on the hair. And I'm just gonna place our legs down. I'm not even gonna time it. Let's place our legs down. Oh man, I hastily did that, and now our legs are not even length. That's okay. Put in a few wraps. Those legs might fall off. I could thread some legs or sink some legs in later. Not too worried about that. Usually the bug is falling apart before the legs fall off. So we did our greeny, stripy colors. We don't have much hook space left to work with. So I'm going to try to repeat just making smaller, tying in smaller bunches. And do two loose, crank it to spin. green. Spread it around. And then we can do our sage. Oh, what am I doing? I guess we'll do this same color as the body. I'm gonna crank now. Get that nice and tight, 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 tight. Get our landing zone. A little bit of green. And then work it around. And I guess, no, we can fix the bottom. A little bit of sage. Crank it down. I'm gonna advance. Give it a pack. Nice pack. I knew before I advance, I'm cranking because we didn't really get a good wrap in that last one. You gotta get that thread tension under control. All right. So we got our hackles, legs, which weren't great. Now we have our hair. I'm gonna take a gamble here. I'm gonna finish all red. All red. Where's the red hair? There's the red hair. Well, Oop. Red hair. All right. We're gonna do a red face on that. All red. So we'll get a nice bunch. I'm gonna try to do it in one shot. It's gonna require a lot of packing, and I want even distribution. Pick it out. Get our thread, one, kind of tighten down, not all the way, two, crank and spin, come on, come on, distribution's not great, but we'll have to live with it. I think I should have gone more, a bigger bunch. I was scared. Okay, then we'll pack that up. Yeah, I definitely should have gone a bigger load. And then we can create a little thread head here. Not too much, but something. Try to manage that hair. That's good. Go ahead, whip it. Whip it, whip it, whip it. One is enough because we're gonna glue. Trim it out. Let's get our legs under control, get our the hackles under control, find our legs. We tied in 2 rubber legs, there they are. So we'll need those. One is a bit short. That's okay. Kind of fluff everything out. And now we trim. Maybe we do a diver. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we do a diver. Try to trim out a diver head. Let's work the bottom first, rough chop. Just to get some shape going. Let's examine our color scheme. Not a great color scheme. And then we'll work the sides. I'm trying to create a little football shape on the head. Work up front, giving the razor slight bend. Got to be cognizant of where the legs are, where they start, because certainly you will not want to, you want the collar to start before the legs, that tying point. And now we work the head back, working the head back, couple cuts at a time until it's even. I think that's good. Let's clean up that bottom. I mean, at some point I'm gonna have to take this out of the vise. So, be warned. Let's come back. This cut is a slight down angle because we want a little taper. And often you need the scissors for this cut. I'm gonna grab my legs and hold them so we don't accidentally whack them off. Working down. And then we'll stop there. So we have a rough shape of what we're doing. We need to take this out of the vise. I wonder, I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna move this because there's about to be a ton of hair coming down here. We'll move that. Let's get our razor. Let's do the bottom first, grabbing the legs, checking that hook gap. have gotten a fresh razor for sure. There's plenty of hook out there. Let's mellow out that head. That's good. Work on this taper here. That's good. Switch to the scissors. Keeping these long on the bottom, I don't mind. But I'm gonna fluff it up and try to knock off the ends. Whatever ends there are. Try to keep the tips, knock off the ends. All right, now we have to work on the width. This side needs to, gotta take off this side a bit. And our head is weirdly, we gotta take down this side. But let's get the width set first. So further back on this side, thinner on this side. Okay. We're too tall still. But we're getting there. Let's drop this collar. That's as tall as we want to make it. Now we have to even out our head. Which side? Yeah, this side has to go down a little bit. Okay. And let's get the back going here. I'll knock the rest of that off with the scissors. We still look a little bit lopsided on the head. check out the underside. Even that out a little. Underside looks fine. All right, we're nearly there. So this depression, this hood will catch water and create a gurgle. The whole thing floats, but the shape of that hood is important. If there's too much hair on top, it won't land right. So you gotta make it even. Take down this part. Nice and close. Clean up the underside a little bit. That's good. Fluff everything out. That's good. Yeah. I've seen some people kind of flash it with a light or two. Kind of singes the little baby hairs on there. Eyeballs are nice on a diver. You don't need them. But doing a little eyeball kind of solidifies that face. So I'm gonna notch out a little landing zone on each side. I'll put a little eyeball on there. Nothing huge, we'll do black. Eyes on the left hand. Got my tool ready. Do a drop of glue right where we want it on the side there. Quickly place your eye. And then here you want to position and press lightly. And it's already set. Repeat. Little drop. Quickly place. And position. And it's set. I'm gonna do one last, put a little bit of glue on that front. Little drop of glue on the toothpicker. And just drop it right where that thread tying point was. You can roll it up if you want. That's good. And then give it one last look over. I think that'll be enough. Finished. All right. Let us review the day's work. Gotta gather up the flies. And then we will go on a field trip to the table. Right. So we started with this CDC double wing, but we put a green body on it. I just need big dries. Hello from Finland, the ghost fisherman. And then we tied two rabbit strip leech patterns on jigged hooks. I put gold flash in this one. There's one tie-in point down here, and then one tie-in point here. You could do just one tie-in point and then let that strip kind of flow. I split the strip, so this is half a strip, very thin, and then this is the other half. And we put in some peacock herl colored flash. This one is, you can tell, is heavier than this one. This one will actually fish better. The sparser the better for these little leeches, especially if you're fishing them in a river. Then we did a similar pattern, but this is on a bigger jigged hook with a bling strip. You can see I didn't cut it very well, but I split that strip and then I tied it in. We tried to do a lighter or darker color over the lighter color with a reddish synthetic blended with ice dub. This has a 4mm tungsten bead. These are 3.8. Good patterns, kind of like junk fly patterns, but good to have. And then we finished with our deer hair diver, which started out a little bit shaky because I didn't tie in these legs quite right. But it'll be fine, good enough. And we trimmed out a little face. The water, as you strip it, the water will catch and create a nice gurgle. This, I think, is the best warm water, top water pattern ever designed by Larry Dahlberg, the Dahlberg diver. And with deer hair, the deer hair outperforms foam significantly, so you got to tie it with hair. The color scheme, though, didn't work. I did 3 shades of green, which is just trash. Didn't look good at all. It would never do that again. And then we tried to do a red face because I was thinking this would be a flat-faced popper, but now it just looks like a Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer popper. So not very good. We mismatched the leg length. I can trim it out, but I was a little bit disappointed with that. I thought I had the perfect leg length, and then I hastily secured them in. So that's it for today. We will see you next time.